On the next World in America, we'll get a closer look into the experiences of one of the largest African communities in the United States, the Ghanaian Americans. Family values highlighting respect, cuisine nutritious enough to keep you going for a whole day, colorful dresses and embroidery that you don't want to miss, celebrations that warm everyone's hearts, and many more. All coming up as we get to know the Ghanaian Americans on the next episode of World in America.
Ghanaians are warm-hearted. They are very pleasant people.
Ghanaians here in America are hardworking. They are devoted to whatever they do.
Their will to survive and their drive makes a typical Ghanaian a successful person. You should never bet against a Ghanaian.
The Republic of Ghana is located in the southern part of West Africa. Having a long and fabulous coastline, Ghana borders the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire to the west, Burkina Faso to the north, and Togo to the east. The word Ghana means warrior king and historically was used to refer to the western coast of Africa. Home to many ancient African kingdoms like the Ashanti and Fanti, this land came under the British rule when it established a crown colony in 1874, called the Gold Coast. Almost a century later, under the leadership of Kwame Nkrumah, a famous Pan-Africanist, Ghana became independent in 1957, making it the first sub-Saharan African country to gain its freedom.
Citizens of the new state of Ghana gather for the celebration marking their Day of Freedom from colonialism. What was once the Gold Coast, a British colony, now becomes an independent Commonwealth. Vice President and Mrs. Nixon represent the United States at the three-day festivities. Native dances and games mark an event of historic importance since Ghana becomes the first Negro colony in Africa to gain its freedom. Premier Kwame Nkrumah chats with Representative Adam Clayton Powell of the U.S. as Ghana's new army passes in review before the American-educated Premier and Deputy Secretary Ralph Bunche of the United Nations.
After the Nigerians and the Ethiopians, Ghanaians are the largest group of Africans migrating to the United States in the last 20 years. Seeking better education and employment opportunities, Ghanaians make the United States their new home. One such Ghanaian to make the United States his new home is Carl Bumbo Perry. Carl and his wife Magali Desir, a Haitian American, raised their two beautiful children, Asari and Layla, in Somerset, New Jersey. After working as a teacher and a vice principal for more than 10 years, Carl has recently opened a restaurant serving African and Caribbean cuisine. His wife Magali has been successfully teaching middle school for 10 years. The Bumbo Perrys are also lucky to have some of their extended family in the U.S. Carl's mother and sister both happen to live around the block.
I came here at the age of 10. I was in Ghana with my mother, and basically I was getting into my share of trouble in Ghana. You know, running the streets, having a mother who's doing her best to raise you, sometimes not the easiest thing. So what ended up happening was my father, who was here, they had separated, but he was here finishing his master's. And once he found out that I was going through some troubles in Ghana, he found it best fit for me to come here to live with him for a better education and more structure.
My parents are from Haiti. I was born here, and then I went there shortly after to live with my grandmother, just to help out with help my mom. She took my sister and I'm a twin. So for a couple of years, and then we came back here.
I was a teacher in Plainfield, New Jersey for 11 years. And then to complete my master's in education administration, I then became a vice principal in New Brunswick for about 2 years. After that, I resigned the job and opened my own restaurant, which has been in existence for almost 2 years now.
I've been teaching middle school for the past 10 years. I've always known I wanted to work with children.
Leaving one's motherland is a serious decision. For the Ghanaians who decide to come here, it is a decision that is worth taking.
What actually brought them to this country is seeking opportunity. Because America is a land of opportunity. Everybody comes to this country trying to get some.
Most Ghanaians, I would like to say, they come here to dream, to hold a dream, and to acquire something for themselves.
In Ghana, we don't have the system that we have here in America, so we have to take care of our elderly. So most people come here, they secure a good job, build houses for their family, their parents, so in the future they can go back and take care of them.
The American system is transparent, okay? And sometimes if you have a voice and you want people to hear you, once you sound the alarm, they will come to you, irrespective of your social status or standing. They will come to your aid. And whatever educational level you want to attain in this country, it is possible.
So it's a plus. Education is definitely a plus. And when we do come here, we work towards to reach the highest level possible. You know, but the new Ghanaian is now an issue where the new Ghanaian that comes in often gets sucked into the system, and the money is good. So what it is instead of going and working hard and try to get that education, they often go ahead and just find a job to get started, and they get sucked in just working and never attain that education that they actually came here for.
So hands in. On 3, we're going to say go Black Spies. Ready? 1, 2, 3, go Black Spies! Right.
Another benefit Carl and Magali experience here in the States is the opportunity to expose their children to a variety of sports activities. Their son, Asari, plays soccer in the local school's league.
This is second year. Second year playing. He doesn't quite have it like, you know, like we did back home, but yeah, he's trying.
All right. Go get it, Asari!
Asari might not be going through a more organic street soccer experience that is common to kids in Ghana, but at the end, it's not about winning or losing, but all about having fun.
Atmosphere here and the time you need to, you know, really spend to play with them. You know, at least back home, you guys know everybody picks up a ball, you play with your neighborhood friends, and that's that. But yeah, he's enjoying it, so that's what matters.
He said, "Did you want today?"
Yeah.
Let me see.
There have been a number of challenges for Ghanaians in adapting to their new lives in the States. And the accent barrier is not the only one.
No matter how good you are, if you come to this country, you have an accent.
Because of your accent, they look down upon you. And even to the extent that sometimes they try to equate your accent to your intelligence, which is very bad.
Besides struggling here and finding your own identity, you also have your family back home that are looking at you because you've made it here. They're looking at you to either for support or for assistance or for you to even actually try to bring them here for a better life. So you almost have a dual life. You're living here, trying to find yourself, and at the same time trying to support others back home.
Ghanaians in the United States make sure to uphold the essential elements of their heritage. They like to keep their own unique ways of showing respect.
Kids must call every adult in their life. If it's a male, you call them uncle. If it's a female, everybody's an auntie.
Every adult that he introduced me to was either auntie or uncle, and it wasn't necessarily through blood. And it took me a while to kind of to learn that, because you kind of, out of respect, I guess, have to address them as auntie or uncle because they're, you know, older.
The proper use of hands is another fundamental Ghanaian way of showing respect.
In our culture, everything is done with the right hand. You cannot hand or even shake a hand with a left hand.
Let's say an adult asks for a glass of water and you serve the person with your left hand. Go, mommy, here with my left hand. That person needs to get a spanking on the left hand because it's quite disrespectful. You never do anything with your left hand.
One of the ways to keep one's culture is to stay connected. The Bumbo Peris do exactly that. They keep connected with their extended family on a regular basis and host them in their lovely home. Here, Carl's niece Tiffany talks to her grandmother and others about her recent visit to Ghana.
How did you enjoy your holidays in Ghana?
My holidays in Ghana was like very fascinating. I liked the music, the culture of everything, like the food, the entertainment, like outside, what was happening, the beaches, the hotels, everything.
The last day that you were leaving Ghana, you wept bitterly.
No, because one thing I missed, like when I left, the reason why I was crying is because like the freedom, because like, and the people and everything, it's not the same when you come to America because you're like more free. You can do whatever you feel like. You have more people to communicate, while like when you come to America, you're like in a box, trapped in a box. The only place you can go is like a store, and that's it.
The kente cloth is almost synonymous with Ghana. The Bumbo Peris and other Ghanaian Americans cherish this folklore proudly.
Ghana is also known for a lot of textile. For example, we have kente. Kente cloth is very expensive. It's used in celebrating a lot of family functions and a lot of to just represent culture.
Whoever wears that kente cloth, they look at you as a standard because the kente is very, very expensive. This is our traditional cloth and it's very, very expensive. It's not common. And we have different types of kente. This is another type. This is also called kente. You see the difference? Yes. They normally wear it on special occasions like weddings, special parties, engagement.
Ghanaians' enthusiasm for the kente cloth reverberates in the Newark Museum, where a variety of Ghanaian artwork is on display. In this artwork titled Many Come Back by the Ghanaian artist Ella Natsui, hundreds of aluminum seals from discarded liquor bottle tops are stitched together with copper wire, creating a kente-like pattern. For the artist Ella Natsui, the bottle tops recall Africa's long history of contact with the Western world, since alcoholic drinks were first introduced as trade items to the continent. The transformation of these discarded bottle tops references this legacy and comments upon the present-day culture of consumerism. But the key part of the exhibit is the glass beads of Ghana. Primarily popular in the southern part of Ghana, this traditional craft is making its way to the States.
The exhibition showcases the creation and use of glass beads, which is a really unique technique, unique to southern Ghana, and looks at not only the history and how it's made, but also how artists continue to adapt these forms today. And the motivation behind doing this exhibition was we really wanted to highlight one of Ghana's important artistic traditions that dates back to so many centuries, but still remains vibrant and ever-changing today. The technique in making glass beads is actually they're made from recycled glass. So glass that is imported in the form of glass windows, other glass material is pounded down to fine granules and then formed in a kiln in molds to create these powdered glass, fused glass beads. And it's a technique that developed several hundred years ago in Ghana and continues to be used in the present day. The beads themselves have always played an important role in Ghanaian culture, especially in the lives of women. There are beads that are given to infants when they're born. Waist beads are worn around an infant's waist. And then as a woman grows older, she gets beads for her marriage. And finally, for the funeral display, beads are often displayed alongside a woman's coffin as a way of honoring the woman's memory. There is a much wider range of art forms that can represent Ghanaian culture and African culture in general. And that's why we like to showcase not only the masks in our collection, but also glass beads from Ghana, wonderful examples of textiles, and also the contemporary arts.
Carl's new passion is in the restaurant business. He operates Asari's Den in Somerset, New Jersey, where he serves West African and Caribbean cuisine. It's an ideal place to taste some Ghanaian dishes.
I always like seeing people come together, in a very congenial atmosphere where, you're sitting around relaxing, getting to know each other.
Fufu is a well-known dish celebrated by many African nations, and Ghanaians are definitely no exception.
Main food is ampesi or fufu.
Fufu is eaten with the hand. Most Ghanaian foods are eaten with their hands.
Fufu is made from plantain, or they'll say plantano. But they've modernized it because you can't pound fufu when you come to the United States. In Africa, they have a very big mortar and a stick that they do pound it, but they've turned it into a powder form. So all you have to do is mix water with the powder. This is fufu and light soup. It's fufu and goat meat stew.
Requiring a long preparation time, kenkey and fish is another mouth-watering Ghanaian delight.
Kenkey is made from corn. Now, the corn is being soaked for 3 days, and after the 3 days, they take it to the mill to ground it. And what they do is they make it into a dough. We have the kenkey and fish and shito. So that's the kenkey, then the fried fish.
A big part of, I think, the African culture is that we eat food as a starch-based diet. You need a heavy meal. You have the sun that beats on you all day, and a lot of people worked in the field and things like that. So you need a substance that will keep you and hold you over.
Once a year, most Ghanaians get together to celebrate their new home. The National Council of Ghanaian Associations organizes an annual picnic where most Ghanaian Americans reunite in New York City.
It's an annual event that we organize to bring Ghanaians together, to actually network, make new relationships.
And as you can see, there are thousands of Ghanaians here making merry. But the important, essential aspect is that they are bonding. They are coming together. You meet old friends here, old acquaintances, old family members, former schoolmates that you've not seen in several years. So, in fact, it is a coming together event.
Ghanaians from all shades of life, all cultures and every ethnic group could converge at one place and then try to share that culture of unity among Ghanaians, where we always believe in unity in diversity, because we have so many cultural and ethnic groups in Ghana, and where we meet like this, we don't meet as ethnic groups, but we meet as Ghanaians with a common destination and a common aspiration.
We get to see many people, the lost friends. I met somebody 20 years I haven't seen him. I saw him today. It's just I'm having fun.
Especially for those who were born here in the diaspora. This is one occasion where they can see Ghanaian culture at its best.
As you will see, a lot of young people here looking very westernized. They see, you know, the merging of the two cultures. And it lets them know, yes, it is okay to embrace both aspects of your heritage. It's okay to be Ghanaian and it's okay to be American.
Both cultures have their good elements. And that if they're able to bring the two together, we should be sure to have a blend of the Ghanaian culture and the American culture, which I believe would assist them in their aspiration and whatever they want to do in life.
The future of Ghanaian community, I think, is very bright because we have up-and-coming Ghanaians who are actually social-oriented, who really want to get involved.
As the Ghanaian Americans establish their new roots here in the States, they recharge themselves in gatherings like this one and turn their hearts and minds toward the future with hope.
I'm from where the relief is done. Peace Corps never comes, and it never rains. It's more like tears from the sun. And there's no moving over, just hostile take over. New regime, new dictators with new soldiers. Over there, the government's spiteful. Boys to men ain't R&B, but a 6-year holding a rifle. Killers getting younger, the hunger's getting scarier. For 6 cents a day, some kids don't bury ya. No gangs, but every flag got some blood in it, kids. For cash, gorillas will make you walk like a grip. What you think? You hustle by pushing the crack rock? Brother, my whole country hustling, pushing the cash crop. And when the market drops and inflation tops, you gonna see how the violence there go non-stop. It kills me.
A successful person. You should never bet against a Ghanaian.
The Republic of Ghana is located in the southern part of West Africa. Having a long and fabulous coastline, Ghana borders the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire to the west, Burkina Faso to the north, and Togo to the east. The word Ghana means warrior king and historically was used to refer to the western coast of Africa. Home to many ancient African kingdoms like the Ghanaian Americans on the next episode of World in America. Ashanti and Fanti, this land came under the British rule when it established a crown colony in 1874, called the Gold Coast. Almost a century later, under the leadership of Kwame Nkrumah, a famous Pan-Africanist, Ghana became independent in 1957, making it the first sub-Saharan African country to gain its freedom.
Citizens of the...
Ghanaians are warm-hearted. They are very pleasant people.
Ghanaians here in America are hardworking. They are devoted to whatever they do.
Their will to survive and their drive makes a typical Ghanaian.
On the next World in America, we'll get a closer look into the experiences of one of the largest African communities in the United States, the Ghanaian Americans. Family values highlighting respect, cuisine nutritious enough to keep you going for a whole day, colorful dresses and embroidery that you don't want to miss, celebrations that warm everyone's hearts, and many more. All coming up as we get to know